Hi, great community, and welcome back to the Hounds for Life podcast show. This is episode 9, and it is titled My. And what is the most common question asked by prospective Greyhound owners? We are very excited to have you back on the show, and today I'm sitting here with our guest host, Kay. Yay!
Hello everyone, I'm Kay.
Kay is a friend of mine. She lives also here at the top of the South Island and has recently adopted a greyhound from us. Yay! And we will talk about that in the interview later. And thank you so much to be on the show.
You're most welcome.
And for your interview, of course. Right, so what are we talking about?
So, what's happening for Hounds for Life in Te Paranui?
Yeah, good question. So we were acquired this February, which was nice. We got to do some exciting projects, building projects. We are at the moment building some outdoor runs and shelters for the greyhounds and for the homestays, so they have a individual outdoor fun area to themselves, because we keep every greyhound separate from each other to avoid any kind of arguing, nipping, and so on. Because as we now know, being greyhound experts at the 9th episode of the podcast, greyhounds have such a thin skin that every kind of arguing between two greyhounds, it is not aggressive, just what dogs do, results in a big slit open of the skin and blood everywhere, and stitches need to be done, and big vet bills and all this hassle, and of course a scar afterwards. So that is the only reason why we are keeping our greyhounds separate, the fosters and the homestays. But we thought it would be nice if they have outdoor areas where they can meet through the fence and socialize in this way. And that's our little building project. So we had more time to do this month, which was lovely.
That sounds great, doesn't it? So do you have any greyhound for adoption?
I do.
You do?
Yes. Yeah, we have at the moment 3 greyhounds at Hounds for Life kennels. One is a sweet, super sweet Inky, a little black girl. She is so gorgeous. A little bit shy at first, but not long. And then when she develops her personality, it's very sweet. Then we have very handsome and calm Joshi. He's a real gentleman. And we have our very perky and stunning faun, Suede, a big boy who's absolutely gorgeous and so fun to have around. And he's actually featured in this show.
Great.
Actually, Kay, what do dogs eat in Japan?
Well, I don't know recently, because the only thing that I can remember is when I was little, my grandma used to own a dog, so she fed her dog with rice and miso soup. That was the everyday life food. So, but I assume these days that people feed with dog biscuit. So
yeah. Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
That the dogs live out of rice and miso soup. It sounds very vegetarian to me.
Yes.
It was lovely to see all the greyhounds also at Warangi Beach when you came with your family, and Mai as well. And how many greyhounds did we have together there?
Did we have about 15 greyhounds? Something like that, wasn't it?
15 greyhounds, probably more people, because some came with kids, and 20 people or so. And it was a beautiful day, the Great Greyhound Walk at Warangi Beach. And you will see in the footage there were some dogs enjoying off-leash runs in the sea. Very exciting. We had some very well-behaved greyhounds there. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, so we should do it more often.
Yes, we will. Yeah, the Marlborough Greyhound community has to come together. If you're watching from Marlborough, we have a Facebook group. It's called Marlborough Greyhounds. Please go there and join the group. Then we can organize get-togethers. Fantastic. And also, I want to have a shout out to everybody who is watching our show far and close, as far as California and elsewhere. We had, meanwhile, lovely comments And thank you so much for commenting. Then we know that you enjoy the show, and we also know what you might want to see. So I probably just read out some of the latest comments. So for this, I have to reveal, I need my glasses. Ta-da! Okay, so we have a comment from Pearly Grace, which is very recent, few hours ago. This is perfect. I'm thinking of getting a Greyhound. Oh, how wonderful. Pearly, please let us know when you get a Greyhound. Send us some pictures or some video footage that we can put in the show. Absolutely wonderful. Then we had a comment from Barry one day ago. Great video. Hope to see more content soon. / thingy exclamation mark. Wonderful. Would love to have a video on how to teach a dog the basics of an agility course. That's such a wonderful suggestion, and we will definitely look into that. Stay with us, Barry, and thank you for watching and commenting. One comment on last episode 8, from Susan. Great podcast. Thank you, Susan. I have to say that you two look like twin sisters.
Not us.
Not us. That was Carol from the episode 8, our guest host there. And you might be right. We get actually mixed up quite a bit here in the area. That's quite funny. All right. One last one to episode 5 from Tonya. Thank you, Tonya, for commenting. Great video. Thank you, girls. We just got our first Grey a week ago, and I found it very helpful listening to your experience. Oh, that's wonderful. That gives us much joy that we know that you get so much out of the show. So please, please, please comment if you want to see something or just to give us a heads up. So without any further ado, we go into the show. Enjoy!
Little darling, it's been a long racing season. Little darling, it's time to rest and find a home. Here comes the hounds, didn't you know? Here comes the hounds, and I say it's for life. Hounds for life. Hounds for life.
So next segment is expert interview with Fatima from Nightrave, and she will answer us the 7 most frequently asked questions for prospective Greyhound owner.
Hello everybody, my name is Fatima from Nightrave Greyhounds, New Zealand. I'm here with you today. I was invited to talk to you about the most commonly asked questions by people who are looking into adopting a Greyhound. I have been involved in Greyhound adoptions now for 15 years, and I have spoken to thousands, literally, of prospective Greyhound owners, families, couples, single people, retired people, all sorts of people. The first question, one of the questions we always get is this. Can Greyhounds live with other dogs? Cats? Can they coexist with livestock? Can they live in lifestyle blocks with other animals around? In short, yes. Greyhounds can live with other dogs, big, small, old, young. And yes, a large number of them can live with cats. And yes, most of them will be happily coexisting with the stock as long as there is a fence in between. Every Greyhound by every adoption agency is assessed for his suitability to live with big, small, female, male dogs, old dogs, young dogs, all sorts of possibilities. As we know, some dogs will not like living, for example, with a puppy. Some dogs will prefer it. So basically they are dog social, just like any other breed. With cats and other small animals, most of the adoption agencies, including Nightrave, will do a test or assessment rather which will give us an indication of suitability of this greyhound, trainability for him or her to be trained to live with cats and possibly other small animals. Regarding livestock, sheep, alpacas over the fence, horses, typically greyhounds do not challenge fencing. Farm fencing is more than enough for most of them, and we assess for that as well. Next question that we often get is, are greyhounds friendly with people? Are they affectionate with people? And in particular, are they okay to live with children? Again, in short, the question is absolutely yes. Now, greyhounds, due to their upbringing for racing and due to the career they've had, were handled by various numbers of people. Many of them were complete strangers at the tracks, vets, handlers, stewards, various staff at the track. They do not have any aggression to people in general. And they make terrible guard dogs because they do not have guarding tendencies either. So basically, for most of the people, greyhound will look at them as a friend coming to give him some food or give him a massage or take him for a walk. With children, greyhounds don't have any reason not to like children because they've never had any bad experience with children during their career. But of course, it goes both ways. The children have to be very carefully controlled and taught how to interact with their new dog in order to keep everyone happy. And this is true for any dog breed, not just the greyhound. Next question that we get still asked all the time is that whether greyhound has to run off lead every day or a couple of times a week, or how often does he have to run? In short, absolutely not. They do not need to run every day or every week regularly. The most important thing for them is the regular walk, which will give them stimulation and that bit of exercise that they need. So 20 minutes walk twice a day, or one longer one once a day, depending on the season, depending on your schedule, is plenty. It's important to remember that the greyhound is a sprinter, not an endurance dog. And it's important to remember that their races are very short spring races as a rule. So really, we are not talking about the dog who needs hours of running every day. In fact, they could never do it. Once a week is plenty, and it's going to last for only a couple of minutes, as most of us greyhound owners know. They do a big, short sprint, and it's all over. For older dogs, they don't even need that. Enough exercise for a greyhound is a couple of walks a day, or one longer one a day, depends what you do. But as a rule, as we all know, they're all couch potatoes that sleep 20 hours a day, and they need that sleep. So a good walk, maybe an organized greyhound run once in a while, maybe a little run in a bigger area, and I mean a bigger backyard or something like that every couple of weeks is plenty. Another very common question is, how do I feed my new greyhound? What should I feed it? Is it the same as for other dogs, or is it something completely different? In short, no, it's not drastically different. Just like any other dog, greyhound needs good food. In case of a greyhound, he needs 2 meals a day because the tummy is quite small, so 1 meal a day could not work for them as dogs. So breakfast and dinner is ideal. And just for every other dog, you want to feed food that you're comfortable with, a quality food. But we do say for the beginning, when you just get your greyhound home, feed it the same kibble that he or she was fed in your adoption kennels. Why? Because you just want to keep that going for a while and not introduce yet another change for the dog. Of course, later on, you can completely change that as per advice of your vet, or what you find out yourself, or feedback you get from Greyhound community. Another very, very common question is, of course, muzzles. Do I have to muzzle my Greyhound? Is it a legal requirement? When do I have to muzzle it? The answer is simple. Your Greyhound is muzzle trained. It is an excellent tool for you as a dog owner. Legally, there is no requirement for a retired Greyhound to be muzzled anywhere in New Zealand. Practically, adoption agency will advise you to muzzle your Greyhound in certain situations. For example, if you're training it to live with your cats, or if you're introducing it to other small dogs, or if you are walking it in an area where there's native wildlife, or if you are walking it in an area where there's a lot of cat presence, pet cats presence. Nightrave as an agency, we also always advise our new owners to walk their new Greyhound muzzled for the first couple of weeks, everywhere. Why? It's not for the dog, it's more for the people. If their Greyhound is muzzled, we feel that new owners who've never had a Greyhound before will feel way more relaxed about the whole walking experience with their new dog, and that relaxed energy will go right through the leash down to the dog. And this is what we want. So this is an excellent tool for you. And eventually every owner, once they get used to the dog and once they get bonded to the dog and once the dog is comfortable walking around the neighborhood, most owners will be comfortable to take the muzzle off, part-time or full-time. Having said that, on organized Greyhound runs, meaning off-lead runs in fully fenced, secure areas, muzzles, as far as I know, are compulsory on each event organized by any adoption agency if the Greyhounds are running off-lead free. Not because they're aggressive, but they're required to be muzzled in those cases because the speed that they moved at, in combination with their thin skin, can mean that even a playful nip can result in a laceration, which means you have to go to the vet and have the dog stapled or stitched up, which is absolutely unnecessary for a breed of the dog who is muzzle trained. In other common questions, and that one I have to admit is getting a bit less and less as Greyhounds are more common and understood nowadays as time goes, but it still gets asked a lot, and it is, have they been abused when racing? Have they been beaten? Have they been kicked? Look at its scar on its leg, you know. So it is absolute oxymoron to have an abused Greyhound and expect it to win. It's not possible. So in New Zealand at least, we can say that in general, our retired and racing dogs are not abused. If you have some scars on your Greyhound, that is due to them having very thin skin. It's not due to them being kicked or abused or cut with something. It's important to say that lots of injuries happen in pet life as well. As we all know, if you see a local community, there's always, you know, due to their thin skin, there's a lot of, well, not a lot of, but there are accidents that happen. Lacerations, broken toes when they run, due to speed that they run at, nails, dew claws, all those little things that can happen to them, and they leave scars. It doesn't mean that that dog has been abused in either his racing life or pet life. We also say to all our adopters and people who are generally interested to come to the races with us. All racing clubs in New Zealand now have open days where you can go, see the racing dogs, see the vet inspections, and you can find out for yourself. Another very common question we get asked is a question that comes as a follow-up from the document Notes for New Owners that we send to each prospective adopter. In that document, we talk about how to settle your greyhound into your life and your house when you just adopt it, when you just bring it home, what signals to give the dog, how to act around the dog, and how to present and implement the general pack leadership routine and other things that Greyhound needs for you to do during that time. The gist of the matter is, in short, that this is a new adult dog in a new environment, in a completely new house. Even if this dog was fostered, it is you and your home and your family, your animals, your routine is completely new to this dog. In order to reduce the stress of this massive change in this dog's life, you need to make his world small to begin with. In order to make this world for your dog very small, you have to, let's say, edit the things very carefully that you do with this dog. So it all has to be done in small doses as to ease this dog in and give him time to find out about you, to learn about you, to learn about your children, to learn about your house and your routine. Many adopters tell us, but why can't I just go to all the walks and introduce the dog to all my family and go everywhere with it the first weekend? We always say, hold on. You are going to have this dog for next 10 years. There's plenty of time. Let's do 2 to 4 weeks, or maybe a bit longer for some dogs because they're all different, of settling the dog inside the house and outside the house and in his routine. It is hard. It can be hard for some people because they're impatient to do all these things they always want you to do with their dog. But trust your adoption agency. Trust them when they tell you, keep his world small, do a limited number of things for the first couple of weeks. It will pay off in the long run. Well, I hope that this has given you a bit of more information or helped you a bit, at least, if you had any questions or wondered about any of these issues. I certainly enjoyed it. I hope you have a lovely day and hopefully see you again. Bye.
Upcoming is the second segment of our show, which is with Kay and her Greyhound Mai. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, my name is Kay and this is a lovely Mai, previously known as Star, Don't Muzzle Me. So we had her since November last year and we were so happy to have her. She's such a great dog, part of our family. And the reason why we have Greyhound is because our lovely friend Maya's got a rehoming place at Te Paranui, just out of Picton. But I always loved Greyhound, seeing Maya's Bella and Silke, and surprised how calm and gentle, great pet. So one day we went to visit Te Paranui and we met a couple of greyhounds and Star was one of them. And the reason we chose was because she has such a lovely nature and so bubbly and cuddly. So we come home after the visit, just went there for have a look, ended up having her in a couple of days later. But it was such a best decision we have made. So after we decided we wanted to adopt her, we made a contact with Nightrave. Maya came and for a home check, and after that we just went straight into getting her in a few days later. So yeah, we're so happy to have her, and she brought lots of love and happiness into our life. And since we haven't had a pet or dog for such a long time, we had a couple of wee accidents, I would say. We let her out to do a wee business at night, and she found hedgehog. And funny enough, she showed an interest in a hedgehog and been bitten. And I was a bit scared, and so I flicked text to Maya to see what we should be doing, because it was just all new to us and we're all learning. So, but after being in touch with her, and we just kept an eye on her for the next day, and then she was fine. And yeah, we're so grateful for everything that's we have. So yeah, thank you. The day was because we have 2 kids and my husband works and I work in shift, so she stay at home probably around about 6 hours, the longest. And if I'm not working, I'll take her for a walk in the morning, and yeah, come home, and she will just stay at home with me. If I'm working, she just stay at home, and at night we'll just take her for a walk. So yeah, that's our sort of daily routine. But she's doing so well, and I'm pleased with how she's settling into our new place. So what's my eat for breakfast? She ate kibbles and a bit of a dog roll. Sometimes I give her a little bit of treat, maybe put a bit of an egg like I did this morning. And for dinner, usually have kibbles and sardine, that's her favourite, or meat. So funniest things Maya has ever done is when she's happy or wanting to burn her energy off, she do me. Yeah, that's the funniest thing she ever done. The colour of my pyjama is red with butterflies on it. So I got it from Nightrave. And she wears when she feels cold. So she wore it a couple of times in the past because we had such a cold night. My special trainer, she's really quick to learn, and because she's food oriented, she already learns a couple of new tricks. The tricks are she can learn down and roll over. And when I call her name, because we wanted to change her name, so yeah, she will just respond to her name, and yeah, that's it. So the cleverest things that I might have ever done is catch the flies, and sometimes she misses it, and I don't want her to encourage to do that, but that's the best trick she ever done. Yeah, it's always nice to have another greyhound, but at the moment I think we're busy with our life, so maybe in the future, and yeah, we might have another one. Thank you for having me on the show, and hope you like it. See you. Bye-bye. So Maya, next segment you will tell us how to home cook for Greyhound.
Yes, I do. And I actually home cook since years, not only for the Greyhound, for the whole tribe, which is also 3 small dogs. And before I had an Australian Shepherd dog. So I home cook since years. That was just my decision because I just like natural produced food, right? Food is, for me, is from the garden into the pot, basically. And I do that for my family, and of course the dogs are part of the family, so I do that too. And I have developed a method, I think, which is really quick to do, not too much of a fuss. and very nutritious and yummy for the dogs, and I'm happy to share that with you in the next segment.
Great.
The recipe I use for my home cook for the dogs is an adaptation of the Indian khichdi. It is using brown rice and dried legumes. I use split peas and brown lentils, which are the easiest to digest for dogs. I would not recommend to use beans with dogs' tummies. You start with pouring all the dry ingredients into your pressure cooker or your cook pot, and then add the water, stir it well, and on top all the vegetables, potatoes, yellow vegetables. I use carrots, pumpkins and sweet potatoes, and green ones, which would be kale and broccoli and zucchini, and on top an apple. The apple is the secret ingredient of my home cook khichdi for dogs, because it adds a lot of more antioxidant to the already rich in nutrition meal. So you close your pressure cooker, cook it 20 minutes on pressure or 40 minutes without pressure, and then you end up with this delicious one pot dish, which is not only delicious for dogs but also for people. For the dogs, the favorite meat you have. I use local dry meat based on green lip mussels, but you can use any kind of meat that you feel your dog would like to have, and of course a sardine is always a hit. Make sure that the food is completely cooled down before you serve it to your dog. And make a bowl of khichdi for yourself as well. I enjoy it with avocado, kimchi, spinach and hummus. Bon appetit! Wow, we're getting hungry if you see that. So the next segment will be our featured poster, and it's Suede. His racing name was Sly John, and actually that is so accurate.
Little darling, it's been a long, long racing season. Little darling, it's time to rest and find a home. Here comes the hounds, didn't you know? Here comes the hounds, and I say it's for life. Hounds for life. Hounds for life.
Suede, oh, he's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Very much.
well, quite tempting, but he is. We'll see. So, we went for a walk at Harling Park with the whole tribe. So, see you.
See you in the next show. And please don't forget to comment, and most important, sign up and subscribe to the channel, because that is the most important thing to become widely known on YouTube, is as many subscriptions we have, as more people actually finding us in the World Wide Web.
Yes.
Craziness. So please, if you like us, comment and subscribe. Very important. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Awesome!
Okay.
Well done!
Absolutely.
Awesome! Yeah! You pro! Awesome! Okay, so that's that. Now we have deserved chai.